Welcome to Devotions from Israel, a 5-minute word of encouragement. Today's passage is Acts chapter 2. I love those times when God gives us a second chance to redeem our mistakes, or perhaps those missed opportunities to proclaim His name. I believe Acts chapter 2 is one of those times in Peter's life where he was able to redeem his denial of Jesus just a short while ago. And yet now he proclaims Jesus boldly in front of a multitude of people. Now, traditionally, Acts chapter 2 and the whole event during the days of Pentecost or Sukkot took place near or in the upper room of Jerusalem. And yet I think it's more appropriate to place Peter somewhere in the vicinity of the temple or the house of God. If you've been to Jerusalem, you know the southern excavations of the temple where we can walk on and sit upon the very steps that led into the temple. These are the southern steps of this grand temple built by Herod the Great. This was a time for Peter to now stand and boldly proclaim Jesus. And that's precisely what he did. We read about this event in Acts chapter 2. Then Peter stood up with the 11, raised his voice, and addressed the crowd. Fellow Jews and all of you who live in Jerusalem, let me explain this to you. Listen carefully to what I say. In the last days, God says, quoting from the prophet Joel, I will pour out my Spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my Spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. I will show wonders in the heavens above, and signs on the earth below. Blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood, before the coming of the great and glorious day of the Lord. And everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Just think of Peter. Prior to Jesus' crucifixion, Peter denied him 3 times. Now Jesus had ascended to heaven, and the disciples are left to carry on the kingdom ministry. And it's Peter who gets up and proclaims boldly Jesus and his salvation. I love the thought that Peter actually took advantage and made the best of this opportunity, his second chance, if you will, to redeem himself, to put the denial of his Lord behind him, and now become used of God to be instrumental in proclaiming the salvation message. If you have failed God in the past, perhaps missed an opportunity to proclaim Him, God forgives you, and He will enable you to carry on with another opportunity. He gives us second chances to serve Him, especially when we've messed up and even denied Him the opportunity to use us. Peter stood perhaps on these southern steps of the temple and proclaimed the message of Jesus. And God used him to bring 3,000 people to salvation. So be encouraged, my friends, that God wants to use you. He wants to use me in the same way as we serve Him in His kingdom. Until next time, Shalom.